Davis Laker thing. And then Kyrie Irving said yesterday, I don't know the Celtics or anybody anything. We've got Porzingis, a Knick. Now he's a Mav. So it's just what Charles Barkley's furious last night. This is what the NBA has been forever. It's been shoe companies and agents and stars controlling it. I'm totally comfortable with it. The NFL is about the GM, the coach, and the systems. That's generally it. NBA is about the stars. They're two different business models. I love both. I think they're both great. I don't think the NBA model works in the NFL, and the NFL model doesn't work in the NBA, and they're my two favorite sports, and that's just the way it is. All right, here we are. First of all, let me say this. I would not bet a ton on this Super Bowl. I'll get to that in a second, just a little bit, because there is the great unknown, Todd Gurley. And I like answers, not questions, in games that I would ever wager on. But it is the Super Bowl. People I know that actually do this for a living, they like the prop bets better than they actually do the game for the same reason. Gurley. Nobody really knows, right? This has been a very good year for me in terms of picks. 9-1 in my picks. In fact, my only loss was I picked Kansas City to beat New England. So, people always say, oh, you picked the Seahawks because you're from Seattle. You picked the Patriots because... I don't play that way. I never have. I want to get the stuff right. So here we go. Here is my blazing one.
That's a hot one.
Let's blaze it up.
Fire it up.
It's Colin's Blazing 5. Patriots versus Rams.
Okay, right now New England is favored by 2.5, minus 2.5. Here are the reasons you should like the Rams. Okay, first of all, Los Angeles will be the best offense that New England has ever faced in a Super Bowl. And New England scores a lot of points. Philadelphia beat them not because of their great defense. Philadelphia outscored New England. You're not going to hold Brady, Belichick, and this team to 17 points. It's not going to happen. So a reason to like the Rams is this is the best offense, and it would be even better if they had Cooper Kupp. The Rams have the sixth best offensive line in the NFL. That's a real good thing, according to Pro Football Focus. A lot of their wins this year, Houston's got a bad O-line. Kansas City's O-line's got some good players, not great. Chargers O-line, the weak part of their team. One team that thumped New England, Tennessee, had a very good offensive line, the Rams do. They're also very good in shootouts. They're 5-1 in games where both teams score 30 or more. They've averaged 195 yards rushing over the last 4 games. Those are all reasons to like the Rams. I also like this. The Rams have more sacks from interior linemen, 25 than any team in the NFL, and they have hit the quarterback over 100 times. Teams that have hit the quarterback over 100 times on a season, the Giants and the Eagles are 2-0 against Tom Brady. There are a lot of reasons to like the Rams here. They're good in shootouts. Okay? They are the best offense they've faced. They have a very good offensive line. That gives New England trouble. And last is that their defensive line hits the quarterback from the interior. And the two teams that do that, Philadelphia won a Super Bowl because it did that, and the Giants gave them trouble. Now, here are reasons why you should like New England. They're 6-0 against playoff teams this year. They had some stinkers against Miami and Tennessee. But when they played really good teams that made the playoffs, they rose to the occasion. They destroyed the Chargers. They went into Kansas City. I know it was overtime, but really controlled the Kansas City Chiefs, beat them twice. Here's another reason to like them. They go forward. They don't beat themselves. They have only 22 times this year a rushing attempt that got negative yards. This offensive line was seen as a weakness. It is now, at least in the center and guard positions, as good as any offensive line in the NFL. Only 22 times did they go backwards on a running play. Also, Brady, as he's aged, needs more rest. The Chargers game off rest, he was unbelievable. He's got rest. And he's got 300-plus passing yards in 9 of his last 11 playoff games. This is also a big factor. Brandon Cooks was a Patriot. They know him well. Robert Woods was a Buffalo Bill with Stephon Gilmore for 4 years. Gilmore's New England's best corner. They'll probably put him on Woods. Big advantage, New England. But more than anything, the game comes down to this. I've got a lot of definitive data and answers, but I have one big question about the Rams. What's up with Todd Gurley? If I knew he was healthy, I'd be very comfortable picking Los Angeles. But he posted career lows in touches and yards last week, 2 weeks ago, averaging only 50 yards a game since week 14. And I cannot take the Rams, who enter the game not only without Cooper Kupp, but perhaps Todd Gurley at 60-70%. And with that, I would put a little money, not a ton, on the Patriots winning the game 34-26 in a game in which Brady gets hit a few times. The Rams are a worthy opponent, but I think that James White, Sony Michel, eat the clock, keep it away from Sean McVay, Goff, Gurley, C.J. Anderson, Robert Woods, Brandon Cook, and that O-line prevail. 34-28. 34-28, by the way. It would be a cover, 34-28. There you go. All right, let me go to this. You're going to say I'm crazy, but just how I see the world. This season, if New England wins, it will be their greatest achievement. Generally, over time, this is the way it works. Dynasties fade. Shaq and Kobe lost their last finals together. Magic lost to Michael Jordan at the end. LeBron and the Heat, ditto. That's the way it works. You get kind of old at the end. New England's had 8 Super Bowl appearances. This is 9, and it's the most impressive. Obstacles, unraveling. Gronk and Brady went anti-Bill in the offseason for a month. There was that Alex Guerrero situation where he got a little too close to Tom Brady. Several ugly road losses. Edelman suspended. Controversy. Yet they just roster, I believe, in football. And they went to Kansas City and beat Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And it's starting to remind me of the Beatles. They were already the Beatles, the GOAT. They were already a musical dynasty. Their legacy was intact. Suddenly you heard reports that John Lennon and Paul McCartney couldn't be in the room together. Why? Because Lennon's wife, Yoko Ono, had gotten so close to John. Too close. She was offering progressive teachings. Like the Patriots, Tom Brady and Alex Guerrero got so close with new progressive healing measures that it kind of turned off Bill Belichick. He kicked Guerrero off a plane. The Beatles were coming apart at the seams, unraveling their big four, Lennon, McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison. And the Patriots' big four, Belichick, Bob Kraft, Brady, and Gronk, similarly starting to unravel. But then something amazing happened with this musical dynasty. The Beatles released their greatest, most iconic album ever, just when we counted them out. Abbey Road, you know, the iconic album cover. They came together, their last recorded album, and their greatest ever. Musical and NFL dynasties, be very careful. I know what you're saying. This is Looney Tunes. But I look at the great John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Paul McCartney coming apart Abbey Road, and I look at Brady and Guerrero, Gronk, Kraft, and Belichick, and you're counting them out. They were not to be undone by Yoko, and the Patriots were not to be undone by Alex Guerrero. New England by about a touchdown Sunday. Coming up next, Chris Broussard on the zaniest, craziest, Charles Barkley's freaking out week. I mean, it is just nuts. It's great.
It got a little wild yesterday. I can admit it. The beginning of the week is Anthony Davis news. You're like, okay, like this is going to be a fun week. It's Super Bowl week. Got NBA rumors for the entire week. And then yesterday, it went off the rails.
It went off the rails. Okay, who's going to blink first? Lakers, AD, Kyrie, Very Lettuce, Chris Broussard will be joining us.